guess I'll
No.
I guess I'll do the intro since I did the last two. Yeah, no. As an AMD fanboy, I had to wear my brown pants as a kind of not Deadpool reference, but sort of. Anyway, yeah, the GTX 1080 is pretty powerful. Just a little bit powerful, just two 980 in
Just,
SLI
just a
powerful.
little bit that it makes every other graphics card currently obsolete.
Yeah, yeah. I saw a picture of a guy who bought two Titans the other day, two fucking Titan X's, and I just had to laugh.
Did he promptly go get them returned and refunded?
I think he probably committed suicide. Not sure. Anyway, so yeah, little powerful. Odd thing though, the Founders Edition, but I'll get into that in a bit. Another odd thing is you can only have two in SLI, which isn't a bad thing necessarily because, frankly, the performance increases of the of just any graphics card in multiple configurations. Three is still relatively viable if you're rich enough. Four just doesn't matter. I think maybe maximum three would have been better, but still two. I mean, you could still do things like you could have, like we were talking about last week with the Linux and Windows thing, where you could have two graphics cards as SLI and then another two, because you can obviously still put four in, and then you could have two 1080s for each operating system. That would be pretty cool. But only two. That's kind of odd. Also, the Founders Edition is strange because it's just a reference GPU with a slightly different design than previous generations, but it's like $100 more than the board partners. So what I take from this is, I guess, the board partners can take the same PCB and GPU kind of combo and stick a plastic blower cooler on it, like the 670s and reference 670s and 680s of past, or and then that would be the lowest bottom out price. That would be the cheapest unit, and that's kind of the recommended for the very cheapest piles of crap, really. And then the reference would still be a price premium because it is better, but still, the way they released it kind of seems like the better graphics cards that are going to come out that are binned, because the founders edition isn't binned whatsoever, and it's still for a price premium. So the kind of bin GPUs, the board partners and everything get their hands on could be cheaper than the reference GPU. So that's just interesting. As well as, I don't like the reference design simply for one reason. It's a beautiful machined cooler, but it's got green. And that's not necessarily bad. Green's a nice color, but there's no motherboards on the market currently that have green. They just, there was a G1 Sniper series a while ago, but they phased that out. It's red and black now. And so I think if they made it clear with a green LED and a white LED, because white goes with pretty much anything, or you just even be able to turn it off, you know, that would be better than just having the green always there. You see such beautiful PCs being built red and black, blue, gunmetal, who cares? And then it's just got that green and it always bugs me. Always bugs me. But getting onto the specs, it's got something like 2,560 CUDA cores, which is a markup from the 980 Ti, but also an incremental, nanometer process and efficiency up increase. So it's running just ridiculous. It's like 9 teraflops of performance, which is just ludicrous, and it is stupid fast. Apparently, we haven't fully got the benchmarks yet, but from pretty much what everybody's saying on NDA, grinning and looking at this graphics card, it's fast. It's very fast. And so, with the recent Polaris news being relatively the same performance as, 390X and stuff like that, kind of worried. But in response to that, AMD have moved the launch of Vega 10 to October to probably, get in a little earlier than they were, for next year. Um, so hopefully they'll do something. It's got HBM2. It's codenamed Greenland, so it is kind of interesting to think of the implications of that. Will it be with a water cooler? Is it just saying it's cool? Or are they air cooling it and it's, more power efficient? Are they just going to go a Fury X route, balls to the wall, power consumption, who cares, to try and compete with a 1080? Because on this kind of architecture, from what they've built from Polaris, it doesn't seem like they really can. They probably can. I mean, I hope they can. But the 1080 is a really fast graphics card. So, yeah, kind of worried, but also intrigued.
Yeah, I'm kind of interested by the fact there's only two ASLI allowed. I'm curious to know, and this will come in time, but I'm curious to know whether that's a hardware or a software restriction because it could be either way. And
Also, why are we still using SLI bridges?
well, I mean, we're not on AMD, but
Well, yeah, exactly. That's why we had the 290 series phase those out.
yeah, we haven't been on AMD for a while. But Nvidia like them. You know.
Well, they brought out a new flashy one
I know
with
exactly.
green in it.
I was gonna
Come
say,
on.
there's been bridges with flashy lights in them for ages if you buy custom ones.
Yeah,
In fact,
but
my dad has one.
I guess that's why, because there's flashy ones available. AMD always included theirs. And they were always, well, I mean, Nvidia did as well, but they were always, the same. AMD included them specifically in their graphics cards, whereas the board partners, well, Intel and even AMD included SLI bridges in their motherboards, rather. So I guess because of that, so many people have SLI bridges, and so many people have bought the flashy ones that they're just like, yeah, screw it, let's stick with it. But it's still puzzling, especially since MSI brought out, I think it was a three-way and a four-way SLI bridge, and
Yep.
you can only do two-way now. So that's odd.
It might be the because it's proven by the people that have tried that trying to get say 4 Titans to run an SLI is almost impossible because no system can make 4 Titans agree with each other.
Yeah, you actually get a bottleneck when you stick the fourth in. Most likely. I mean, there's a lot of just four graphics cards in general. Even when you have a dual GPU graphics card and you stick another one in, it usually you get like maybe 2 FPS or even like less FPS than you were before. So yeah, I can see why they would just do two, but three is still a performance increase. So that is
Yeah,
odd.
I think also a lot comes down to it. At this point, what stuff is out that will take advantage of say even 3 Titan X's or 3 980
I
Ti's?
think I think you guys are missing kind of the reason why they did it, and I think, at least personally, and you're welcome to debate this because this could be interesting, but I think personally the reason why they've done it is because they know the 1080 is not going to be the most powerful card they release, but it is going to be expensive to begin with, and so. And you have to think about the people who do SLI on these really high-end cards, the people that can afford it. Because truth is, if you can do 4-way SLI on 1080s, you can do 4 SLI on new Titans, and they're gonna
Oh, yeah.
wait until they're gonna wait for
Yeah.
the new Titans release because that's where they want you to spend your money. They're not interested in having you do
Or even
4
the
SLI.
1080 Ti, or
Yeah,
even a 1080
exactly.
Ti,
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's like it's like when they released the 670. It was only three-way SLI. They bumped up to four when the 660 Ti was outselling the 670 because it's exactly the same graphics card. Screw Nvidia, but nonetheless, they want you to buy the higher end graphics cards because if you can afford to, 4 SLI a graphics card, why not go for the bump up? Yeah, that's a good point. But I mean, this is all speculation at this point, but that's the kind of fuck you that Nvidia do. That is the reason why I'll still buy a Vega 10 GPU, even if it is half the performance, because I just don't want to buy Nvidia products.
Hey man, half the performance is still a Titan X.
Yeah, exactly.
Just also to point out on the price range because they did announce that the 1080 itself will cost $600, about 450 quid, and the 1070 is $380, about £270.
It's gonna be more expensive than that.
Yeah, you gotta, when they get to the UK. I mean, we pay basically more for our graphics cards a lot of the time, just because of import and tax and all this crap. Just buying technology in the UK is a price premium. Really, it's a shame.
Well, we've got about 13 days to wait until the 1080 comes out anyway.
Yeah,
So
and
we'll
people
find
will
out.
jump on it because that will be mostly the Founders Edition. There might be some board partners, but I mean they're probably not going to be custom PCBs. So that's the main reason they probably made the Founders Edition. Is just people when they want to buy a 1080 immediately, they're going to have to buy for the price premium of a Founders Edition card.
See, I'm really, really interested to see what board partners do, and not just like what crappy board partners do or what basic cards are. I'm waiting to see what EVGA do with like potentially like either a super clocked or Kingpin editions.
Nvidia's own GPU got up 2,000 plus megahertz.
That is like just absolutely just ridiculous. Like 2,000 megahertz on a GPU, like. Somebody fell off their chair when they saw that.
Yeah, they got 2,144 megahertz.
Like that's
on air cooling.
Yeah, that's twice what last generations were looking at. The last couple of generations.
And that was with 67 degrees under load. Now that might be engineered. They might have put it in a refrigerator, for all we know, on air cooling. But still, at their their press release, at their unveiling, they were running one of those, and that's just, I mean that's double the speed of the 980 Ti.
It's so stupid.
That's ridiculous.
And I can't wait to see what the likes of like professional overclockers do with this on like LN2.
See, that's the problem though. Even if Vega 10 can perform with a kind of base level, like not overclocked 1080, like last generation, Fury X could compete with a 980 Ti that wasn't overclocked. Well, you can overclock this motherfucker to like double its speed.
Yeah, it's just so crazy. But I'm excited, for sure. It'll be interesting to see what happens. I'm definitely interested, as I say, to see what the board partners do. I'm really interested to see what EVGA do with they always do kind of an overclocking edition. Like the Kingpin from the last couple of editions has been particularly good. It's always been the kind of like big end card, although it's always been way more expensive than everything. So yeah, I'm kind of curious to see how that goes. And then we may come back to GPUs in a minute, but while we're on the topic of architectures, something which excites me, but you two maybe not so much, is this week we've seen the first of the Broadwell E Xeons.
Oh yes,
the 22 core flagship Xeon. That like that dual socket Xeons. That's cool. Like for server workloads and the sort of workloads that I do, and that my company does, and that kind of deal. Like that's so cool. Yeah.
First generation Zen is supposedly 8 cores. And speaking of 8 core Zen CPUs, we got a low level one on the sorry to kind of completely change subject, but we've got just to confirm last week, the PlayStation 4 Neo is using Polaris and or Zen. So it's got a
damage control.
Well, it's not my damage control. It's Lucas's. Anyway,
what damage control? I never said it was using anything. I just said it was unlikely.
No, yeah, you said it was unlikely, but it's confirmed now. So I was
so
right.
That just means I wasn't right or wrong. It just seems kind of silly to be splitting.
Oh yes, it is. It is a really dumb move.
Better hardware.
But that's kind of what they have to do because we're moving they're generation behind, like pretty much two generation behind now. It's ridiculous. But anyway, they're using.
The PS4 is more like both that and the Xbox One are more like 4. I remember they came out 2-3 years ago now.
Anyway, it's using an 8-core Zen CPU running at like 2.1 gigahertz, and so that's pretty cool. And a Polaris GPU with about 20% or so performance increase. So that's just interesting, I guess. But yeah, basically just that's confirmed now.
Yeah, I'm
And
interested how Zen will be 8 cores, and I mean, maybe they'll do a performance part for Zen, maybe they won't, maybe they're not interested in that, but it's interesting how that will be 8 cores, and it's looking like Broadwell E will be 10 cores on the consumer.
well, Broadwell E is an enthusiast. I mean, it is for a consumer, sort of, but still a pretty bloody rich consumer.
That's what I say. Maybe we'll get enthusiast parts for Zen, but
I mean, we're
it'd
still
be
getting i7s with 4 cores, 8 cores in hyper-threading. But if Zen can come up with a mainstream 8-core CPU with proper hyper-threading, and that kind of performance that we're projected to have, then it's going to blow Intel out anyway.
The difficulty is, I feel like if they do that on the mainstream and they do that at the same price point, it's going to go one of two ways. Either it's going to be just competitive with the i7, it's just going to be on par performance, and on par performance meaning that multi-threaded workloads are going to be better and single-threaded workloads are going to be awful because AMD.
Yeah.
And that's how they've always been on the server side. It's insane. But I feel like if they did a little bit more, if they actually, if they did better performance, they released one that was at the same price point as an i7 but performed, similarly in single thread performance and then better in multi-core because it's got the additional cores. I feel like that's where they would need to be able to win back people, because I mean ultimately releasing something of similar value and similar performance is not going to win them back their fan base or customer base anymore. They need to be doing more than that.
Yeah, I have to agree, but that's the first generation of Zen. I mean, they're gonna kind of lowball it for now, and hopefully, because that was slated. I don't know if they're gonna release it this year. They probably will release it next year.
Honestly,
if things continue this way, because they haven't released anything really on it.
I really want to see them do a consumer part, and consumer part and an enthusiast part, and beyond that, I want to see them do a decent enthusiast part, like a real hitting enthusiast part. Maybe they do like a 16-core version of an overclockable desktop version or something silly like that. Something like that really kind of goes with the enthusiast. Maybe it'll probably be at quite the price premium, but I think getting something like that, getting a few people to turning a few heads, getting a few people to get on board with AMD. A couple of big YouTubers, out there, who do a lot of custom systems. There are plenty of them out there who, their system is kind of the staple of the channel, and they do a lot of, they'll keep upgrading it, keep talking about it. Well, if they can get one or two of those to get on board with an enthusiast part, that's going to really change the customer view. And I think they really need to do enthusiast parts for that reason. I think they need to be competitive in that space if they're going to get anywhere.
Yeah, and I mean, they will still obviously have kind of enterprise parts. Because they've always had super ridiculous enterprise parts. But I mean, to really win the fan base back, all they really have to do is make a few of those super incredible enterprise parts just enthusiasts, because they really haven't had an enthusiast range. I mean, they've had a pseudo enthusiast range, but they was just super overclocked consumer, and they were just a little bit of a price premium for something that's basically going to explode, which was a shame.
Jamie knows about exploding AMD stuff.
Shush.
Oh. Uh-oh.
It was a long story where I had to buy another CPU. Anyway.
It basically was him running 7 volts through your AMD processor rather than 1 point something.
Well, I mistyped, and so RIP.
Well done. Done.
Like, just professional overclocker here. I mean, you haven't lived until you've accidentally wrecked a CPU and be like, oh, guess I'll just order a new one. Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
I mean,
early days of overclocking that.
Yeah, when was that?
What, about a year ago? Well, maybe more than a year ago now. It was
when I got into like
not just like basic overclocking. We're talking like it was pushing 5.2 gigahertz. Like it was pushed. It was not particularly stable. I was seeing what it could do at its limits, and so yeah, I kind of messed up the voltage.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah, and the whole thing just like died.
Well, yeah, I
But
can imagine.
it was like a dual core CPU running at like it was like the dual core CPU idling, like literally idling at 80 to 85 degrees at like 5.2, and like running benchmarks, it'd be like just touching 100 and stuff on like massive cooling. Like the thing was like nearly melting itself, but I did it. It's one of the things. Like it was a dual core CPU, whatever. I just replaced it, but it was more about to see what it could really do, like really kind of performance overclocking, not just like your basic kind of standalone.
Yeah, my 4.2 overclock on my
Yeah, I mean,
4770K.
it's one thing to do a kind of conservative overclock and just an easy overclock, just to kind of get some extra performance. You want it stable, off you go, it's fine. Yeah, but it's another to kind of get to see what something can really do, and it's a different overclocking experience.
Yeah. It would be interesting to see what kind of clock speeds then CPUs run at, because with that amount of cores, if they can, clock it at, I mean, it's the amount of heat that you get out of a 14 nanometer, depending on whether you've, properly kind of made it effective.
Plus, you AMD haven't.
Yeah, because of past experience, let's be honest. Although Polaris seems to be going well. And if they want to make APUs with that kind of technology, they kind of have to be effective. And if they're putting it in a PS4, I'd assume that they're hopefully somewhat effective. But yeah, no, so the kind of the clock speeds, I guess, of that. I mean, if they if they do manage an 8-core CPU pushing 5 gigahertz again, that would be interesting.
They're just gonna have a PS4 with a closed loop water cooler.
Yeah, pretty much.
That's
At
what's
that
gonna
point, why
happen.
not just stick a Fury X in your PS4?
That's what's gonna happen.
Oh, that would be the interesting gaming experience. Would be the blue seep of death. Oh no, my PS4 is leaking. Yeah, I don't know how consoles can survive this, especially with the PS4 upgrading. This is probably the last generation.
Xbox One has done the same. They just haven't released anything yet.
Oh yeah, they kind of have. I mean, if they don't, they're screwed because they don't have the consumer base in the first place.
Yeah, they're currently lacking behind the PS4 at like half of its sales, if not less. They have been steadily getting more recently, but that's because they've been throwing more deals out there. They've got a couple of more high-profile games for a bit of time, like they had the latest Tomb Raider for exclusive thing for like an extra 5 months before it came to PS4.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting the way the landscape is changing, and the move to 4K is also interesting. Although that isn't really a move anymore with the 1080 because it can do it very well.
You see the new iPhone. It's like new iPhone shoots in 4K. No, it shoots in 1080 and upscales. That's not the same.
Oh yeah. I watched the comparison of the camera quality from like 2 to like 14 megapixel, and really and truly, like just the exposure level's gone up. That's pretty much it.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous. I mean, iPhone cameras have always been pretty poor. They're like, oh wow, this new amazing camera sticks out the back and gets scratches. Fantastic. Oh, oh, should we move on to Apple bashing?
Oh yeah, Apple
I think
bashing.
it's time.
Fantastic. Finally.
I missed it last week. It was a shame.
Okay, can I talk about the one port thing? Because I was going to bring it up with the whole
Okay.
Broadwell USB 3C debate and all that stuff. But, like, they release a laptop first of all, it thermal throttles like a motherfucker because, you know, it's an Apple
Do you
product.
know what the best thing is? Is watching Linus on Tech Tips water cool it by sitting it in a bath of cold water.
Yeah. Anyway,
That was hilarious.
so they have the space to put at least 2 ports, if not 4. Okay, they put one on the back. They choose one because Apple design philosophy, moving towards the future. Let's get rid of a 3.5mm jack because fuck everybody, right? I mean, that's just the way things might be going in the future, which I don't know. Come on, digital audio just doesn't. I mean, you don't get proper DACs in phones, but still, just no. Why? I understand that's like the last legacy piece of thing that you need to get rid of on a phone, but seriously, everything runs off of 3.5mm jacks. It's ridiculous. Anyway, the point is, Apple 1 port. You need an adapter to charge the thing and use a mouse. You need an adapter to charge the thing and use a keyboard. Fine, fair enough. It has a mouse and keyboard inbuilt, but come on, you know. I mean, if you're using it seriously, you at least want a mouse. So you need an adapter to charge the thing and use a mouse. They could have just put a port on the other side and had a 2-port laptop. That's still pretty revolutionary and stupid. But no, chose the 1 port. So if you want to plug in a new display, got to have an adapter. You know how much the adapter costs? Fuck tons. It costs so much money. It's ridiculous.
Apple,
It's
what
a
they do is they
fucking
take
adapter.
a cheap $10 thing, stick their name on it, and go, "That's $50 now."
Oh yeah, yeah. It is stupid. And another thing is very old news, but they bought Beats Audio, the other company that sticks their name on a $10 product and marks it up to $100. It's ridiculous. Seriously,
they are
Apple,
the Donald
fuck
Trump
off.
of electronics. They believe their name is worth all the money in the world.
The I just don't understand the 1 port thing. There's not even a 3.5mm jack, I don't think.
No,
I mean,
there isn't.
Yeah, there isn't.
There's only that one.
But the
Type-C
adapter
connector on it,
doesn't
and
account
that's
for
it.
that. The adapter doesn't even account for that. So what the fuck? You have to plug in the adapter to use anything else, and then plug in another adapter if you want to use audio, a mouse, charge it, and have a monitor. So you have to plug in an adapter and then another adapter to use the thing effectively.
Just like, that's the thing. They don't expect anyone to do that. They just expect them to buy one of their normal PCs or laptops.
Oh, my friend religiously fucking defends them. He's like, yeah, but every other company does so similar things. Yeah, but Apple has the money, the influence to change the way the industry does things, and they're changing it they're changing it in a direction that is fucking stupid.
Do you know what it's called? It's called the not having Steve Jobs syndrome of the board of directors fucks shit up.
Yeah, they didn't make as
take a
much
good
money as
thing,
they wanted
made it
either,
crap.
did they?
No, I think they're dropping off a bit currently.
Good.
Every time they lose Steve Jobs, the company takes just a downward spiral to just nothingness. They don't learn. They just don't.
Well, I mean, they couldn't help but losing last time. Let's be honest.
Yeah. And I think some of them were probably somewhat happy because Steve Jobs' last statement was to use every last penny and all of the power his company had to try and bury Google for being thieving bastards.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Still think he's a bit of a dick, but he was a visionary, and I respect that.
Yeah, he was just a visionary dick.
Yeah. But just why? Just why? I don't understand what they're doing. What every bit of news that comes out from Apple is just
What, like the current one, which is Apple investing in a rival Uber company in China for $1 billion.
well, that's change. That's like, spending £1 on a chocolate bar for Apple. It's ridiculous. They have more money than God, and it shows. They just don't care anymore. They didn't really care in the first place, but they really don't care anymore. Um, you know,
They stopped caring when they made more money than oil companies.
yeah,
That's it. When you make more money than oil companies, you don't have to care anymore.
it's you know, I they're built-in obsolescence, the stupid stuff that they come out with. It just from a design standpoint, the kind of built-in obsolescence stuff is to run things as fast as possible. That's understandable, but still annoying. I understand why they limit certain operating systems and get all of this stuff. Like, the old iPhones can't run anything nowadays. That's fair enough. It is such an outdated piece of technology, you wouldn't expect it to. But even some of them, like iPhone 4s and stuff, they still barely run anything, and they're still they would be considered like a low end phone, but still low end phones now can run pretty much everything. And
I have an iPhone 4, and Christ, like there are some things I want to have in it. Like I want to get fallout shelter on it, but it won't run on my phone because it's not powerful enough.
Yeah, well, really?
Yep, iPhone 4 can't run it. Plus, if I haven't updated my iPhone so long, for the pure fact I know if I update the iOS, it will stop running properly because it can't run it because it's too slow.
Yeah.
It's bad enough. I don't think it's on iOS 6. I think maybe it's on 6.
But yeah, I mean, I can understand why you do that, especially on like a PC platform with certain things. But you at least like support those things, like even just a lower end version of the software, like a smoother running. But they just completely abandon these things. And so there's not an investment in Apple products, because I'm going to invest in this hardware because I know it's going to run for this long. It's like no, you really don't. They could drop it next year, it it
They
just
technically already have. They released a new phone. They've dropped everything previous because everything updates for the new technology, the new operating system. That's it. The old phone's basically worthless.
It's just I don't like Apple. I don't like that's basically what it boils down to is don't like Apple. Really don't like Apple. And my friend is just he really, he built Hackintosh. I can't disagree with that because he uses the audio software and stuff like that. He uses it for video editing, fair enough. But he did the smart thing, which is if you want their software, you build a PC that then runs the software. You don't buy a Mac. Because if you buy a Mac, first of all, it's going to be 6 times the price. And it's not going to be able to run anything in a couple of years. Whereas you just hack, you Hackintosh something. You can basically hack an update. And then you can run it for the next couple years. Whereas with an Apple product, you don't know how long it's going to go. As well as just again with the upgrading of Apple stuff, like you'd think in their Mac Pros they'd at least upgrade the storage or something. Nah, screw that. What's the point in doing that? It's not like, it's a different GPU or a different CPU or anything. It's not like you have to run any new code to optimize it. It's
yeah, but
just
then they
it would make the entire thing.
System.
It would make the entire thing faster. It's that's all they care about is fuck the consumer. They'll buy the next one. Let's make it more expensive and less accessible at the same time. And let's get rid of all the fucking ports so they can't even use the thing.
I think that might be enough Apple bashing before Luke goes and tries to murder Apple at some point soon.
Yeah. It's just I just don't. And again, my friends, like all these other companies do similar things and all this stuff, but they do it to a lesser extent a lot of the time. Other than Samsung, they're terrible. Fucking hate Samsung. Samsung are like the worst company because they're trying to be Apple. They're actively trying to be the worst company.
No. EA has that right. what you call it, Konami. They technically have they're the worst company ever rule.
Yeah. Anyway, I need to gather some things, some ammunition against Apple. I've talked it all out previously to doing the podcast, and so a lot of the things I've kind of gotten over in a way, but not fully because, they're still relevant. It's just yeah, I need to gather more ammunition to basically say fuck Apple. All the news is fit to say fuck Apple.
So we're gonna have a new segment called "Fuck Apple News."
Pretty much.
Are
Yeah.
we just ripping off Jim Sterling at this point?
Well, yeah, that's what everybody else does, right?
They basically do. You got anything, Jamie?
Apple bashing or
Apple bashing if you want, or the next subject. We want to move on to the next topic.
Apple suck. Okay, let's move on.
Wow, calm down.
Calm down there, Jamie,
Jeez.
calm down.
Wow, that's way too far. I mean, Apple have their good points.
No. So, Assassin's Creed film.
Oh yay, the trailer looks absolutely horrendously bad.
Yeah, it looks interesting because they're like, yeah, we need to make it like the game, but not use any of the story from them.
Yeah, let's not have him sit in a bed and stuff. Let's just have him on an arm with blades out and shooting arrows around the facility. What the fuck?
Yeah, the trailer makes almost no sense.
And the combat, it's just like they so many cuts and fades and audio trickery. It's such a modern trailer. It might be a good film, but the trailer makes it look absolutely terrible.
Well,
Seriously.
you'd think it'd be a good film though. That the first time round, what do we call it? That owns Assassin's Creed is Activision.
No, it's Ubisoft, right?
Ubisoft, yeah, that's it. Yeah, sorry, wrong comment. The first version of the film that they were making, Ubisoft scrapped. They went, no, we don't like this, and made them restart. So
Wow.
you'd hope this one's good.
But I mean, I can understand why they don't want to use the source material because the Assassin's Creed games suck. It's just.
I don't think it's that the content in the story for the games makes sense as a game. As a film,
Yeah.
they need to approach it a different way, and just adapting one of the games wouldn't work right. So they have to come with a new story, which in the games they basically do. They just go, oh, we'll get a new person, have them go into different memories.
Yeah, but I mean, the gameplay itself sucks, and I can understand why they had to change that up because otherwise the film would just be a fucking hour and a half of escort missions and trailing people and then building up a character and then stabbing him and holding him in your arms like he's some kind of fucking just baby or something. It's ridiculous. It's hilariously bad. I really don't like the Assassin's Creed franchise at all. It's all bland, repetitive. It's like most games will at least try to make a compelling story with bits of the game kind of going into that story in between and having the story change the way that the game elements play. Whereas in Assassin's Creed, the story is based off of follow this guy for half an hour, rinse, repeat over and over and over and over and over again. Just again and again, follow this guy for a while, then stab him. Or mash some buttons and kill some guards. Good job. Look, we're not holding your hand or anything. Just mash the button. Just mash the button some more. Go on, mash the button some more. And then follow that guy. Follow that guy whose AI didn't realize that you murdered everyone in the vicinity while he's just calmly walking away. The AI's stupid. The combat's stupid. The story's often stupid. The only game I enjoyed was Black Flag, and I enjoyed maybe, an hour of it because I went through an hour of trailing missions, and then I got to play on a boat for a while and had my fun.
Surprisingly, that's what everyone liked. That is everyone's thing with Assassin's Creed 3 was we just want to play with the boats more. So I think at that point Ubisoft just decided we'll just make a game about being an assassin pirate thing.
Yeah.
Get to play with boats more. That's the entire game.
Yeah. I do love when when, when you can just like make the boat spaz from the side to side. Just there's no real physics in the water. It's hilarious. Yeah, it was fun on the boat, like just messing around. But like that's about as much fun as I had before. I was just like, yeah, okay, I got this game for maybe 10 quid on sale on a Steam sale, and if I get 2 hours out of it, it's the best Steam sale I've had in a while.
Let's see. Other gaming news. There were news about Kojima Productions, Kojima's company that he started up after leaving Konami. His game is apparently a first-person action game, which has similarities with stuff like Uncharted 4 and The Division. Which there's not much because he's only just started. Well, they started concept of it 5 months ago. They've been working on it since, so we don't expect Ray to sit for 3 years at the earliest. But apparently, you can actually find out more information about the game if you can decipher the logo he's got for his company, because apparently there's secrets hidden within it.
Of course there is. Probably a hidden meaning towards the inner psyche of a child or something. I don't fucking know. That's Kojima. That's how Kojima rolls, right?
Yep. His conspiratorial bullshit, which he has for the Metal Gear Solid franchise, is probably going to roll over into this.
Yeah.
But it should be good, and at least he won't. This time, from everything's gone on, Sony have basically given Kojima a blank check to make the game, and are not interfering like Konami was doing constantly.
Well, yeah. If they did interfere, then they basically just go bankrupt at this point. The amount of hate that would be directed towards them.
Yeah. Well, this is the thing. It's like Kojima makes good stuff, but yeah, you just have to let him roll with it. Don't interfere. It's like just let him roll with it. Let the mind of a person who most likely takes drugs on a regular basis just make the game.
Well, I remember somebody was telling me that he used to play with Legos. He used to build his like little worlds for Metal Gear Solid out of Legos, and his son came up and he told his mother Dad just goes to work and plays with Legos all day.
That doesn't surprise me.
Yeah, Kojima is an interesting human being.
Yep. Let's see what else. The new Doom is out now, which so far is hitting mixed views in general. The multiplayer is terrible, but the campaign is apparently a return to what Doom should be, which is just glory fest of murder and massacre.
Yeah. No review release copies, and that's odd because they had a beta for the multiplayer and stuff. But I guess the reason they didn't do is because the multiplayer is pretty terrible. I guess that's why they didn't release it, because
no. The statement of why they didn't give review copies was they wanted to give a complete experience so the reviewers could have all of the bits of the game, which apparently the multiplayer and the snap map mode wouldn't be available because prior to launch the servers wouldn't be online.
Even though they hosted.
Yep.
Yeah. But I guess they just want to do some fixes, like maybe try and fix it.
No.
What
they want to do is sell enough copies before reviews come out that it doesn't matter.
Yeah, pretty much.
Which is terrible. That's just terrible consumer practice. That's so that just wanting to do the whole thing of, oh, there's no reviews out when the game goes on sale and everyone's already pre-ordered it. So
I'd like to mention a good multiplayer experience in Overwatch, my new favorite game. Overwatch is a very good game, and I very much enjoyed playing the pre-order beta and the open beta. I had a whole week of fun, played about 40 hours, enjoyed the crap out of it, enjoyed every single second of it, other than the fact that overtime is way too long and kind of broken, and that's my only real problem with the game.
Yeah, apparently I did see a thing. Apparently it's had the largest beta for a game, possibly.
Yeah, it is. Wow, it blew me away, because I thought I was overhyped for Overwatch, and then I was like, no, my levels of hype were appropriate.
I played it a bit when it was in the open beta, and I was
You,
bored.
you really have to kind of. It's like sort of. It's unlike anything really, because in CS:GO you really have to learn the maps and stuff, but you can still have some like silly fun in it.
The closest thing that people have likened Overwatch to is Team Fortress.
But it's not really. See, people like keep saying all these things
No, I said
about.
the closest thing
I
it
know,
can be
I know,
compared to.
but just they
But
compare it to everything, but it's unique. It's completely unique. Seriously, like it is.
from
It
what I've seen
is.
of the game modes, not really.
Well, yeah, that is, yeah, no, they did completely rip those off. I
The,
guess
the,
that's
the
why
only
people
thing that
compare
is
it,
new are
really.
the character designs, the story within the world, and some of the gameplay mechanics they have for the
Oh
characters. Like,
yeah,
they are good. They're interesting. It's different.
and just
But
fuck, the dynamic of the game is completely different to just anything else I've played. It's so much fun. A problem that I kind of had was like getting sort of burnt out on when because I did the pre-order beta and then I played the crap out of that. I played like 20 hours just in that, like the first 2 days, 10 hours per day, basically no sleep, completely exhausted. And then the next day when the open beta came out and all these new players came in and they were complete morons. Like I didn't play very much in the actual open beta because like you kept getting matched, like I'm a level like 35 to 40 character and I'm getting matched with like level 11s, level 8s and stuff, and they're just complete morons. And so I started it towards the end gravitating to playing with the few friends that I had that were in the open beta. So I started just kind of solely playing with those guys and playing stupid stuff that then worked because we were communicating. So that was kind of a problem, but of course, when it releases, I'll be down below. I'll work my way up, and hopefully, it will balance out to play with pretty much the same rank. And also, so the two problems I had really were just the kind of quality of people that I was getting because it's so many people and so many different games that kind of gets mixed up, I guess. And also the overtime stupid. Like you can play a character, you can jump onto the point, get overtime, jump off, hide, jump onto the point, get overtime, jump off, hide, jump on, off, over and over until you just win. I think overtime should be, kind of timed. So each time you get overtime, at least by the same person, or like it may be multiple people. If they get overtime, it's longer. But each time you get overtime by maybe the same person or something, it gets less and less. So it gets harder and harder to get overtime or to keep overtime because then you have to spend more time on the point actually taking damage. Otherwise, you play something like Winston, you jump on, you shield, you jump off, you jump on, you run away, you jump on, you shield, you jump off, then you can ult at that point and win the game. So overtime was my major problem with the game. It was really, really kind of annoying at the
I'm not
end.
surprised. You make it sound like boring as shit.
Yeah, because you can keep them off of the point. You cannot give them a chance to even capture the point the entire game. And then one guy, and this is a good thing, but also really fucking annoying. And then one guy can change and then get overtime and win. And that's a good thing because you're able to win no matter how far down you are, no matter how badly you've lost, you're able to win. But it's just the fact that overtime specifically is so lenient is really annoying because no matter how good of a job you do, that overtime is always the same length, and it's just infuriating when they win with like overtime. It's it's kind of dumb. That's my one major problem with the game. Like that's my one. I can see that getting really really annoying, especially even for like if they want to go into esports and professional. That's gonna be the meta. Is just, oh shit, we're losing, just go like two Winstons, jump off, jump, you know, off, and then you just win. There's just you can't do much against that because if you go two Winstons, even if they have a Bastion, even if they kill the guy who jumps on, they still get overtime, and then the next guy can jump on, and then that guy respawns, and he can jump on again, and so it's repetitive cycle that's just grating and so soul crushing when you lose from overtime. It's kind of annoying. And the amount of just bullshit, like I've done that a lot. Like I've just been Winston. At the end I'm like, it's do or die time. I'm gonna go Winston. I'm gonna jump on. I'm gonna get overtime over and over until we win. So I'm the dickhead doing it, but it's in the game, and I know the feeling of the people doing it on the other side. But you don't want to lose. You're not going to purposely not abuse the overtime system if it's there. It is yeah. That's the one major flaw of that game is that. Otherwise, it is phenomenal. Seriously, it is fan fucking tastic. I enjoyed every second of it that wasn't when I was losing to the overtime abuse. Or, shielding against the Bastion as Reinhardt and you know, my teammates come up behind my shield, kind of just look at everything. My shield breaks and we all die. They didn't shoot the Bastion. We had a Pharah at the back. She rocket jumped over. She shot everybody else except for the Bastion while I was shielding it. No, thanks. Appreciate it. I wasn't shielding the Bastion to kill it or anything. Nah. You guys just focus on everybody else that's completely irrelevant to us capturing this point. Don't kill the Bastion. He only just, kills all of us every single time. It's not like I picked Reinhardt to kill that guy or anything. Nah, don't worry about it. So yeah, stupid teammates can be kind of infuriating, but honestly, the one time I really got salty was when I was playing Reinhardt and I'd charge in, I'd take out one, I'd shield, I'd hold my ground, then I'd ult, I'd charge, I'd fucking kill like 2 or 3 people, and my teammates are still sitting at the choke point doing nothing. They don't come and help me, they don't come and capture the point, they're kind of just sitting, gyrating in a corner for no reason. So it really sucks when you take initiative, you take action, you go in with your team, you charge in, you destroy everything, you're capturing the point, and your teammates who were going in with you are just kind of sat back and did nothing for no reason. Like you group up, you go in because the worst thing you can do is go in one by one. So you purposely group up, you spam in the chat, group up on me, then you go in and you look behind and they're just sitting there like, bye, have a nice death. But that's every multiplayer game, really. Is just stupid teammates not really doing anything can be a real problem. So you can't really get around that unless you have proper communication and friends.
I can think of one way. Don't play the game.
True, but what's the fun in that?
Play a different game which actually sounds fun.
Yeah, I have to admit I have kind of made it sound terrible, haven't I?
Yes, you have.
Okay, well, it's fun. No, seriously, it's tons of fun. Like 90% of my experience was childlike joy and excitement and amazing plays and stuff like that. You don't get recognition for a lot of it, but you've done it, and that kind of counts in a way. It's the kind of buggy system of play of the game. It kind of counts kills a little too much, which is a shame, but I'm sure they'll work that out because they've been working that out throughout the beta. So I'm sure that's something that will change. I'm not sure that the overtime is. That's the problem. But the rest of the game is fantastic. The characters are all unique and interesting, and you can seriously change the game with each and every single one of them. Even as Symmetra, someone who you really wouldn't think so, you can put your turrets in a unique place, an interesting place around a teleporter, and you can get your team back into the fight. You can do magical things with pretty much every character. And my personal favorite is Zenyatta because he's a support class, but I've gotten more kills with him than anyone else. He's so much fun, and it's so much fun to dodge a Widowmaker who can kill you immediately with a body shot. Like, no matter what, she should kill you. But to kill a Widowmaker by just kind of throwing balls at her face, that's fun. And the feeling of Reinhardt when you charge in and your team actually follows you is incredible. You charge in, you take them out, you capture the point, you put your shield up, your team's with you, it worked together. And 90% of the time, your team kind of understands. Like it went, especially in the pre-order kind of week, 2 days or whatever. I got a lot of teammates who sort of understood how to play, or at least as much as I did at the time, I guess. and we worked together and we played. And when you're playing with like even one friend, and you can do stupid stuff like I was playing with a friend and we did double Reinhardt, and we were unstoppable because you can charge a tank. He's not dead, but your friend also charged the tank, and now he's dead. So there's double charges coming from crisscross patterns and stuff like that, and then you double ult like the entire enemy team, and you charge. You take out two, you go back, you shield each other's backs. It's just the kind of stupid little tactics and intricacies of the game and the mechanics that you can do when you have proper communication, or even with just people that know the game. It is so much fun. And I guess that's the same thing with a lot of multiplayer games. Like, when you get a good rotate with a friend on CS:GO and you take out like a 5-man with just you and a friend, and you get headshots around the corner and you kill that guy who was aiming at your friend's head and stuff. It's fun, but it's so much more action packed, so much more colorful and interesting in Overwatch to kind of pull those things off. And yeah, I mean, it doesn't have the depth of like spray control and stuff like that in CS:GO. So I don't think it crosses the markets of even Team Fortress 2 or, MOBAs or anything. I think it's its unique product, and it's a product that I'm going to play for the foreseeable future until I probably get bored of the overtime thing, if that's still a problem, because seriously.
So, rating out of 10?
10 out of 10. As in Zenyatta out of 10. As in I have no life now, Overwatch is my life.
I'll give it, from just what Lucas made it sound like, a 2, because it sounds boring as shit now.
Damn it.
Both of those are fair comments.
Fair enough. No, it's a fantastic game. It just needs a little bit of work.
Shush, Luke. No. You've talked enough.
Yeah, this is probably
This
the
isn't
worst
the Luke
episode.
rant about shit for an
Technically, Luke.
Yeah, this is probably the worst episode we've done so far. We may only be 3 episodes in, but this has been awful.
This
hour.
has
3?
been
I thought
awful.
we were on 4.
No, we're on 3.
Shh.
We don't talk about the first one. Shut up.
The first one doesn't exist. What you took? That was the beta. That was the open
The beta.
It doesn't count.
Closed beta.
Closed beta. Sorry.
It's private.
It wasn't open. It's private. Yeah. So yeah, this has been pretty fucking terrible. Oh, this is like I was watching one of the latest episodes of The Tech when Where is Logan or whatever, and he's like, "This is the 5th worst episode of The Tech." Oh yeah, this is terrible. Why are we doing this?
I don't know. We kind of just can't be bothered to interrupt you.
Yeah, probably should have. I mean, I have my massive segment at the beginning, my
I think
10-minute run.
We need a buzzer to with an air horn, probably.
One of those, those. You've seen X Factor where they're like, is it X Factor or Britain's Got Talent or some rubbish like that, where they've just got the button, they press it, and the giant X that comes up.
Yep.
That's what you want, and you want the what was that TV program? Family Fortunes. Do you remember the noise it made when it wasn't on the board?
Oh yeah, the giant klaxon sound thing there.
Yeah, that's what we want.
Well, you're welcome. At least I had some progression and made the podcast longer than 30 minutes. I mean, the amount of notes we had for last episode compared to the amount of notes we have for this episode. Fucking hell.
It's because there's nothing interesting. Let's see. What was the news for last week? Right, some games came out. Crappy film trailer for a video game movie. And alright, Nvidia released the 1080 and just shit on every other graphics card.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, that's pretty much it, really. So yeah, at least I had something to say.
Even if it was you basically complaining about Overwatch, even though you think it's a good game.
Well, yeah, that's what everybody does, though. It's like, oh, CS:GO is fantastic. It's my favorite game, except for the Tech 9. They should buff the R8 again. The CZ Auto is terrible. The P90 is overpowered. Why does the M4A1S only do like 2 headshots? Blah 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 blah. Oh, this map's broken. We need to fix this. Why is Nuke
My,
so hard to run?
all I can say is, my only problem with CSGO is the amount of fucking cheating assholes there are.
Well, yeah. I mean, yeah. I don't know. That's going to be something interesting in Overwatch because you have wall
That and the
hacks and
terrible
aim.
matchmaking or ranking system, which doesn't apparently level you anymore.
Yeah, but that's going to be something interesting in Overwatch hacks because there's a character in the game with an aim hack. There's a character in the game with wall hacks. Like, how the fuck are you going to find hackers?
Oh, that's easy. You do what someone did for CS:GO, where they uploaded a hack for the game, which was only a minor tweak, but it had code in it to flag it on Steam's anti-cheat system, so it automatically kicked them.
Nice.
It's basically a hack with a time bomb in it to get them banned from the game.
They have been making changes. Like, there's a Prime account that you can now do. If you hook up your phone, you can't have multiple accounts or anything. So if one account gets banned, all of them gets banned, as well as, if that account gets banned, you're fucked basically, because you're only really gonna have one phone, one contract, so on. So that's an interesting step towards less hackers and a better ranking system. But that splits the player base between thing. But I guess to trade and do anything in CS:GO at this point, you need a mobile app, which is why I've been looking for something else, just because of the community and all of this stuff in CS:GO at the moment. It's just like I'm kind of done. It's turning into the like when I left League, the kind of stuff that was happening around that time, kind of bullshit and stupid stuff that I was just getting tired of it really, and the kind of changes that they were making.
That's just the internet in general.
Yeah, yeah. And yeah, I really hope Overwatch doesn't go around that route in a long time, but it still needs some changes. It was a beta, and they're probably not going to actually fix anything by release, which, I mean, that's a disclaimer right there, but...
They call it a beta, it's called, we'll release the game for a short amount of time to figure out if there's any issues, because we can't bother just to actually get testers.
Well, no, that's a massive player-based test. That's a fantastic way of doing things, in my opinion.
Yeah, but the first one, the open beta they did fine, but the game is basically finished. They just wanted to get it tested.
Yeah.
But how many times have people done that and there still be shitty problems with the game? Like every time a Call of Duty game comes out and their servers can never withstand being bombarded to death.
Oh, I'll tell you what, on the pre-order beta, their servers were down for only about 15 minutes because Blizzard, they have servers upon servers upon servers. They know how to do this stuff, but they still went down.
Wow.
They still went down for 15 minutes, so that was interesting. Nobody could log in for 15 minutes. But so far in the open beta, especially with so many people playing, no problems really. The problem with Blizzard servers is they go down for maintenance every day for like, half an hour or so. But that's a good thing because then they're pretty much always stable.
Yeah, that's supposed to happen.
Yeah.
A lot of the time it isn't.
And I really didn't have any connection issues. I was connecting to America a lot of the time. In European servers, I had no connection issues whatsoever. But I was connecting to America, and they don't show you your ping, which is a good move, but also a bad move because a little interesting. But I didn't find any people lagging around or anything, not at all.
They probably didn't want to show people's ping so people can't shit on each other saying, "Oh, you've got a terrible ping."
Yeah, that's what League did at the end. They were like, just got rid of the ping meter. But yes, no, I didn't find any connection issues whatsoever, which was surprising. And I think the netcode and everything in the game is fantastic. And just the way it's played, it doesn't matter on deaths or kills or anything. It's all about just kind of the way you play and the way you take objectives and work together as a team.
It's because they wanted to make a more team-oriented game rather than people being bothered about statistics.
Yes.
That's why they didn't have anywhere that stuff's recorded.
Yeah. which I really respect. I really, really enjoy that. Yeah, I really like the game. I'm gonna play it for the next year or so. That's pretty much guaranteed at this point.
I'll give you 3 months before you say, no, I'm done with this shit.
All right, you want to bet on it?
No.
Of course you don't, because
I don't bet.
then I play for like 3.5 months just to say fuck you. But yeah, should we wrap this worst episode of the Technically Wrong podcast up?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Might as well.
We should technically call this the Technically Luke podcast.
Yeah, I mean, I've been Luke. This is my podcast. I've been tired. I have a cold. I haven't done much research because I've been playing Overwatch, and no news came out this week other than Nvidia, which I don't like. So you're welcome.
Yeah, just for viewer reference, our entire doc was that for the majority of the week, up until like 5 minutes before we started, pretty much the only thing it had on it was 1080 launch.
Yeah.
End of doc.
It had a couple of GPU things. That was it. Then I added a bunch of topics at the end, which are basically all gaming news.
Literally, our document was for the entirety of the beginning, like end of podcast last week, up until yesterday, where I added the AMD news about the PS4 and Vega 10, was PayPal Titans rules on crowdfunding. Should we talk about that? And GTX 1080. That's it.
Yeah. It's been a slow week.
So yeah, PayPal Titans rules on crowdfunding. I haven't read the document. I don't care.
I was just interested because crowdfunding has been a thing for a while, and it's become there's a lot of bad stuff related to like Kickstarter's not getting funded and not delivering that kind of deal, and it's interesting to see how PayPal has reacted to that, and they've decided that there needs to be tighter rules on the way money's transferred, the way money's dealt with in that way, and so maybe a sign for the future.
To add on to that, a Kickstarter for a affordable 3D printer announced this week that they probably won't be able to get everyone their backer awards as well as release the product, because one of the founders of the company embezzled $350,000 from the company to build himself a house.
Crowdfunding, everybody.
Yeah.
And that's why we need stricter rules on it.
Yeah, and that's the end of that story.
Because
Yay.
Kickstarter and that kind of stuff would be way more backed and have way more people behind it if there wasn't so much risk involved. And I mean, it's part of the fun, I guess, but for some people.
I think it's the whole thing. It's kind of a look through the glass at how funding for projects work, and the idea is Kickstarter's supposed to work as people who back a project are investors to the company. But instead of having a percentage stake in the company, you get backer rewards.
Yeah, it's a really shit stocks.
Yeah. But it's also to cut out the middleman of people investing money and then trying to take all the rights, like game publishers do to developers, where they squeeze them for every penny and leave them with basically nothing.
Pretty much.
So.
Yep.
On that depressing note,
Yep.
Have a good week.
Hopefully there'll be more news.
Yeah, hopefully something will
Less
happen
about
this
the
week.
internet sucking.
Yeah.
Maybe Apple will do something more stupid and we can just...
And Overwatch is on hiatus. So I'm just going to go and cry in a corner with a bottle of whiskey.
Hopefully something interesting will happen this week. Probably not.
Nah, probably not.
Hopefully we have more than 2 topics previous to starting the fucking podcast.
Maybe some country will burst into flames.
Wow.
Not sure how that would be tech related, but...
Yeah.
I don't know. It could be somewhere in America, somewhere just erupts and Nvidia gets blown up. I don't know.
Oh, that would make my week.
That'd just be us talking about how Nvidia died in some horrible fire.
No, it'd probably be AMD. Their new GPU is too hot running.
Yeah.
Oh, I have to hate on AMD now because the GTX 1080 is so fucking fast. I can't feasibly, honestly predict that AMD are going to compete with that properly
No.
because
AMD need a
they just
miracle
haven't.
from whatever god exists to survive, otherwise they're dead.
I know. Please, a miracle.
Yeah, every time we talk about AMD, we're like, oh, they can bring this back. They got this, and then 1080 launches. You're just like, well, maybe not.
Yeah, pretty much.
You had a good run, guys. Like, peace.
Yeah. I mean, I am a pseudo traitor. I have an Intel CPU, so yeah.
He's a traitor.
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, they haven't released the CPU in quite a long time, so we'll forgive you for that.
And on that bombshell, get it? Because they're pretty much bombshells, yeah.
Just shut up.
Okay, do the outro thing.
There. I'm Lucas. You can find me at twitch.tv/Rooster91 and at Twitter at Kinski91 on Twitter.
Yeah, I'm Luke, and I don't use social media that much. I mean, I mostly just kind of watch YouTube videos and play video games and listen to music and
occasionally.
Apparently so. But like I have a Twitter or something. I don't know. I'll carry a Endgame. That'll do. Perfect.
Yep, amazing. Well, I don't do anything either, so subscribe to this YouTube channel.
You can have a look at our website if you like maintenance mode things.
I've got a T-shirt that says maintenance mode on it. I got
coming to a town near you soon.
I got a retail sample.
Nice. Really? You got to show us that.
That was gonna be so good.
Should have got 3. Come on, you should have gotten 3 of them.
I got a T-shirt that says "I fail" as well, with a little I and a capital F, fail. Anyway, bye guys.
Yeah.
See everyone next week.